I'm Lisa Haisha, and welcome to the Legacy Interviews. Today my guest is Madeline Fuhrman. And I met Madeline here at my home because one of my close friends and project manager recommended her as a singing teacher for my daughter. And she also speaks French, and my daughter wanted to learn French and singing. So, in comes Madeline, and I was just blown away by her talent. Her singing style, it's like nothing you've ever heard or seen before. I think the closest is Edith Piaf. And she's amazing, and you're amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, so hi.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm very good. How about you? You just got back from the studio?
5 hours ago, basically. Went home at 4 in the morning.
Oh my God.
So, just typical.
Yes.
Typical day in the life.
Yes, so how did you start singing? And I know you lived in France, and you have a whole journey to share with us today.
Yeah, so I started singing. I played piano first. When I was very little, before I could even read, I really wanted to play piano. And so I asked my mom to take me to the piano store, the music store, to get lessons. And they told me that I needed to read in order to play, but I put my hands on my hips, and I told them that I was going to play piano, and there's nothing they could do about it. And I was persistent. The lady's like, no, it's okay, you can come back next year when you are, older and you can read. And this guy found me so amusing that he brought me into his room and he started to play stuff, and I would just play it right back. And
At 3?
At 3. And, 4.
Okay.
Yeah, so because 5 is like when I started reading. So yeah, 4, he brought me in there, and so he'd play Little Mary Had a Little Lamb, and I'd play it right back. And he'd play something else, and he's like, oh, I'll work with her, this will be fun. But then because of that, I never really learned how to read music properly. And even though I can read music and do all of the technical composition stuff, I really learned how to play by ear. And I never really considered singing until my sister started doing it. And I was tagging on to her lessons, but I couldn't even sing, and no one told me. And I just had this confidence and this will to perform, and I could not hit one note.
Okay.
And there's videos of me. I went to a school fair, for example, at the talent show, and I dressed myself in a ball gown and little sunglasses, and I sang Born to Entertain, and I did not hit one note, but I did it with so much confidence, and everyone was confused as to whether or not to applaud at the end, because here's a 9-year-old girl who clearly knows that this is what she's gonna be doing in this moment, but I couldn't really do it at that time. And I kind of realized that nobody was paying attention to my singing, so I ended up playing tennis actually for a really long time, and was living in France and playing on a traveling women's team, and just doing what I love. That was my life. All through middle school, I was top-ranked junior in the South. I lived in Atlanta, Georgia at the time. And one thing led to another. I got bored one day when I was living in France and started to sing on the streets, just for cash. And I knew a lot of
But how
jazz
did you get
standards.
from here to France?
Oh, it was my
journey?
dream when I was 8 years old to
Okay.
live in France and speak French, because I met these 2 girls on the beach who I couldn't speak to,
Ah.
and because they spoke French, and it made me crazy because I love to talk to people.
Yes.
Who knows? They could have been my lifelong friends.
Exactly.
But because of that, I asked my mom for lessons again. So constantly wanting to learn and constantly just curious about the world.
So at 15 years old?
That was 8 when I asked my mom.
Yeah, but at 15 you
And
went to
then-
France?
Yeah, 16.
Yeah, 16, okay.
16, I went to France for a year, for 9 months.
Wow.
And I had started to kind of dabble into singing again. When I started to teach myself piano again, because I had abandoned it when I was playing tennis so much.
Yes.
And it just kind of naturally flowed and happened. The less I thought about my singing, and the more I was just there and present and just playing the piano and singing along, my mom was like, where did this voice come from? And I was just like, I always sang. What are you talking about? And she's like, oh, no, now we can show you the video.
Always sing.
Now we can show you the videos of when you couldn't sing.
Yes.
And it just kind of everything, just one thing led to another. It was just not, I was
So
just
you never really
curious
took formal singing classes that...
I did when I couldn't do it.
Yeah, when you couldn't do it, but you didn't keep it up and say, this is what I'm going to do. So your voice was really
right.
you.
It was
just
really me.
practicing continuously on your own.
And just loving it, and driving driving the ship myself, I guess you could say. And people would say my voice sounds like, the first comparison I had was Nora Jones, so I went and listened to a lot of Nora Jones, and then my mom was like, oh, you should be listening to all these other people, so I started to listen to that music, and just kind of started to take what I liked from every artist and every sound, and I think that like foundation has carried me into building my own sound as an artist and my production, and now I'm producing and I write, for other artists as well as myself, and that, just sticking with my instincts has really been the driving force of everything that's happened in my life.
Yeah, so when you were in France, you actually sang in markets and had a hat.
Hat at my feet. When I brought my guitar, I made a lot less money. So I stopped bringing the guitar and I would just sing jazz standards and Edith Piaf.
Yeah, that's great.
And one of my favorite memories actually was not during my year abroad, but I went for the summer after I graduated high school. Because I did my year abroad a junior year. So after senior year, I went and traveled all over France and sang in different markets. And I was in the Antibes market, and I was singing, well, first, it was my first encounter with the cops. So I was singing next to some guy who was like broiling nuts, and I guess I was singing too loud for him.
Okay.
And so the cop came over and he's like, yo, like, you should move. He's getting really angry. Like, I'm not hating on you, but this was all in French, obviously.
Yes.
And so I moved over just outside of the market, and I started singing La Vie en Rose, and all of these street vendors just started dancing and singing along. And it was the coolest thing.
What an experience.
And I'm just like sitting down here, and there are these little steps to go up to the main marketplace, and all of these like big old women and old men are just like swaying and just like feeling it. And it was such a cool experience, and I also made the most money that day on the street,
I'm
busking
sure.
life.
Yes.
And this little girl came up to me, so she was so cute, and she's like, oh, I always like dreamed of being a singer when I was little.
Right.
9 years old, girl. And so,
was it ever intimidating to sing in French? Like, how quickly did you pick up the language and really get it down?
My first memory of really singing in French was my mom had told me to listen to Edith Piaf, and once I'd finally learned the song, I was with like family friends on the beach in Manhattan Beach, and I was like 15 or so, right before I left, and I just started, my mom was like, oh, you've been working on Edith Piaf, you should sing it, and I sang it and like brought my mom's friend to tears, and I was like, whoa, like, maybe I should learn more French music.
Yeah, no kidding.
This is working. And the more people said, like, when I sing in French, it just sounds more natural.
Yes.
Which was very funny to me, because French I was not even fluent at that point. But I just kind of like rolled with it.
Yeah,
like,
especially singing in French in France, where they could be very,
exactly.
critical.
At the end
and
of
if you
my
could
year,
succeed there, that's amazing.
Because I sang every Saturday at the market, and at the end of my year, there was this old woman who had come every single week with €1 for me. She like came up and she waited until she heard her favorite song, and then she would drop it in the hat.
Yeah.
And I put up a sign my last Saturday that I was performing there, and I said, thank you so much for this amazing year. I've so enjoyed performing for you all. Hopefully I'll be back soon.
Right.
So she comes up to me and she goes, "T'es Américaine? You're American?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "I don't believe you. Je te crois pas. I don't believe you. I just don't believe you." I was like, "I can show you my passport if you want." Like, I'm American. And she just looked at me. She's like, "Bravo." It was really cool.
Yeah.
That's and then impressive. I came back that year when I went to go to different street markets, and she's like, "You came back," and I was like, "How are you?" She's like, "You remember me."
Oh,
so cute. Oh my gosh, she was my favorite.
So is that something you love about singing, is that you really get to touch lives and inspire people just by your presence and your voice and songs that you write from your personal experience?
Totally. I think it just shows a vulnerability from my side that people don't normally see, because I've always been very strong, like the little girl who wanted to play piano, and just, I went to France. I'm very adamant and persistent about what I want in my life, and people don't normally get to see the softer side of me, and that's what music does, is people see a totally different side. I like almost transform when I'm performing, and I love it. I want to live on a stage. I just want to Like, I was born to entertain.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yes. I mean, if you knew it at that age, my God.
Exactly.
And even if you couldn't sing, you're like, I'm going to do it anyway, and I think I'm
Yeah.
great. You may not
Exactly.
get it, I may not hit the notes, but I'm still great.
Right, and that's, I totally
that's a
believe it.
minor
I'm so
thing.
glad I never got to the like American Idol
Yeah.
point where I got in front of
Yeah.
the judges and they're like, no, like who told you?
Yeah,
you could
go
sing?
home, please.
You know,
Yeah, that might have crushed you.
yeah. I don't think it would have. I would have just been like, they don't know anything.
Right.
I'm just gonna keep doing what I do.
No, that's wonderful. So how do you teach yourself how to write? I mean, now you're writing for other artists too. It's one thing for you, but when other people say, oh my God, you're good, I want you to write for me. How do you?
So I didn't go to college, and I learned by doing. I think that's really, so how do
you have
I
private
teach myself to
teachers,
write?
or
No.
did you?
How do I teach myself to write? I just write. How did I teach myself to produce? I just opened up the production software, not knowing anything about it, and I just did it. You know,
So share a little bit about that. If someone wants to learn how to do anything in life, everyone's so afraid,
jump.
or I have to go to college, or I have to take a class. And you didn't take a class for anything. You just went to high school and decided you wanted to go to France. You went to France. What about tennis?
Tennis, that's what I wanted to do, but there was always something about tennis. That's what I've realized with music is with tennis, I always had some kind of excuse at one point. I didn't have excuses. I mean, I trained for hours every day, but there was just something there that was not clicking. I was not 100% there. I was like 90%, like 85%.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot in my life. Like when I was little, I did figure skating, and as soon as everything got like really hard and I had to push through a wall, I couldn't do it. And even though, like I said, I got back from the studio at like 4 a.m., like last night was the best example of why I still do music today and why it's so much of a passion.
Yeah.
For mine is because I had the opportunity to leave.
Okay.
Basically, because not much was going on and it just kind of was unproductive. But I was like, I'm not going to leave here without at least some like solid idea or a song. I'm going to push through all of this because, you know, this is what I want to do. Like this, I'm really passionate about this project. And there's just something so resilient about me when it comes to music and my creative vision for myself or somebody else.
Did you teach yourself that, or do you think you were born with it?
I think I learned it over time. I think I saw.
Did you see it in your parents, or?
I saw, like, from my mom, she's always been like, no is just the beginning of a conversation.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
She's like the ultimate rebel. I mean, she escaped from the Soviet Union. I mean, she should just get like a badge, ultimate rebel or something like that. And just, from her and, from her perspective and how she left the Soviet Union and wanted to work in journalism and bring the truth to people and cover wars, which she ended up doing. And, when I was in second grade, I won the hero contest because I wrote that my mom was my hero.
Oh.
And all of that. And it just, like, there's that, of course, but at the end of the day, it all comes from the person.
Yes.
And if you don't yourself feel connected with something and you don't feel like you're going to be doing that, then you shouldn't be doing that. Like, I strongly believe in only doing things that I love. And that's why I've been so quick to abandon so many things in the past.
Yeah.
Is because the minute I wasn't feeling it, I would just walk.
So how did you get into tennis?
Because
you really excelled at that.
Yeah, I got a racket for my 8th birthday.
Okay.
And 8 was a very pivotal year that I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got a racket for my 8th birthday and tennis camp lessons. And I loved it so much. I won the Iron Woman Award at this tennis camp for going to this camp for 39 straight weeks. So 4 summers.
So you got
basically.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was just the beginning of it. And then I started to play tournaments and just kind of.
But you knew you didn't want that as a profession.
Oh, I did.
You did? So yeah. So
I
what
would wake up in the morning, I'd go to the gym, and then I'd have school, and then I'd have like 3 or 4 hours of tennis practice afterwards, go home, go to
But
bed.
then how did when was the moment where you shifted to music that you wanted to do?
When I was in France.
Just France. You just then said, I'm going to
happened.
abandon tennis.
It just happened. Yeah.
Okay.
I
When you saw the response and you felt how you felt when you did. Okay.
It just there was not even a question in my mind. It was like, and then I sat back and I was like, wow, like music really has been part of my life since the very beginning. There's videos of me when I'm when I am 3 years old,
Yeah.
and I didn't know, I never took any piano lessons, and I'm writing my own songs at the piano. And my dad goes, "Do you know the Lion King song?" And I look at him, I go, "Lion King, Lion King." And I start writing whatever.
Yeah,
just
your
based
Lion
off the
King
room.
song. Yeah.
And it just like, I don't know, it's always been so much a part of me, and it just took so much for me to realize that it was always there. But you know, tennis taught me persistence and determination, and you know, I will never forget, I had this great meeting with Mark Mazzetti, who worked with Sting and Janet Jackson and all of these like greats, Paul McCartney. And he said that he was with one of his buddies, and he said that you'll never, something along the lines of, you'll never win in business against someone who plays good tennis. And the more I think about it, it's so true, because tennis players know that it's all mental. That skill is really like 10 to 20% of the game. It's all about how you approach it, how you stand, how comfortable you are in your own skin on that court. Because I can't tell you how many times I was in a tournament and I'd be up 6-0 and be like, "Oh yeah, I got this," and I'd lose the match, the whole match, just because I got ahead of myself, or or I'd be losing and I would just like lose my head over it. And all of that, like, you know, I was like a wacky little tennis player over here with so many moods.
Yeah.
That, you know, I think that saved me in the sense that I don't really experience that in music, because I know that what I have to offer as a writer and as a creative person, because I'm in the rooms that I am in, obviously it's something that people like. So I need to just stick with that. But I can't play down to anyone else's game, because the second you play down, then you play somebody who has a lower level than you, you're going to play down to their level. So you always have to play at your level or above.
Yes.
And then there's also the fact that, you know, motor muscle memory. So practice, practice, practice. Even if you don't have something to practice with, you practice. Like, I'll never forget, they say, like, so when you're watching TV, just sit there with your racket and do volleys, because it's just a push. So
Interesting. Yeah, so you're
just sit there and
always
do
doing
volleys.
it. You don't have to be
just
on
sit there
a
and do
court.
volleys. And you see, if I had a tennis racket in my hand, it's a perfect form.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Kind of thing, like, boom. If I could be, you know, stepping
yes.
as well. And it was, you know, just...
So that was great practice for music, too.
Exactly.
For the discipline and the, you know, really
what
staying...
it really takes. So
Yes.
that's what I learned from tennis, is like, is the work ethic that I carried into music, and that people so respect about my work and how I work, is that I just always work, and it's so much a part of me that it will never leave. And French was the first, you know, learning French and being fluent was like the first example of that, because I was totally immersed and I was resilient. And
So that's all you studied in France was French, or did you study other stuff?
I studied at an American school with the math and English were in English. But everything else was in French.
Okay.
All of the Americans would hang out with each other.
And
I would go hang out with the French
of
people.
course,
and
of
everyone made
course.
fun of me. But I'm still fluent in French.
Yes. That's surprising. That was going to be my next question, because most people who do that, they forget it.
Exactly.
Because they're not practicing every day.
Exactly. And I thought, when I left, everyone was like, "So are you afraid you're going to lose it?" And I remember saying, it's so much a part of me now that I don't feel like I will ever lose it, because it's just natural. Like, I have to have it there. And that's what music always was for me. As in between tennis, in between points, I'd be singing to myself, and I'd be like making beats with the racket or something like that. And it was not even, it was all subconscious. It was never something that I had ever thought of doing.
So if someone has a dream or a passion that they want to do, how do you recommend they go about that? Do you think they should take classes or teach themselves or learn from YouTube and books, or?
I think you'll find what works for you, because I use YouTube sometimes, or I'll call people who know more than I do. It depends on how you're feeling, and I think the best advice I can give to anybody is just stay present, because even though I did like figure skating and I did tennis and I lived in France, everything led to one another. Absolutely everything. Because I don't think I would be as strong of a writer, businesswoman, or composer, singer, anything, if I didn't have everything I had in the past. The artist who you see right now would not be me if I didn't have all of the other experience. So you just have to stay present, and that's...
So whatever your journey is, stay present.
Well, your journey is your journey,
Yeah.
and you have your perspective, and
Yes.
nobody's ever going to take that away from you.
That's what makes you unique. So
Exactly.
stick to that and quit
So
trying to
just
be somebody else.
Be you
Yeah.
every single day, and focus on you and what you want to. Like, what if, like, I could just decide today I want to go play hardcore tennis, and not do any music today, and that could be great. And who knows who I would meet at the tennis court.
Because you're present.
Because I'm just present,
Yes,
and I'm focused, and everything in my life around me is, you know, what I've attracted, I guess you could say. You know, call it the secret,
Yes,
if you
yes.
want. But it's not a joke, is if you stay focused and you persevere on your path, whatever that path may be. Like, it's okay to be lost. Everyone's lost. Everyone's alone. Everyone feels it.
Yes.
And so if you just relish in that, then there's so much that comes out of it. And that's what I think the best lesson I've learned in all of this is just live your life.
Yes.
Rihanna says,
Exactly.
live your life.
Yeah.
Hey. Exactly. You just do it.
Yeah,
Nike.
I teach something about expect miracles or look for the miracles in your life, because when you're present, you see them. You'll meet the right person you're supposed to meet.
Exactly.
You're going to do what you're supposed to be doing because you're present. But if you're caught up in
100%.
where I want to be that in 5 years, or I've got to do this, or caught up in everyone else's stuff.
You can't expect
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
You have to have your goals and
Do you
work
set up
towards
your
them.
days? Do you are you good at organizing your days? Do you have a schedule? Do you write everything down, or do you just wing it?
I kind of wing it and have a schedule. I'm like a very interesting hybrid of OCD, ADD.
Okay.
I guess you could say.
I love that.
Because I know when something needs to be abandoned and when something needs to have its moment to just sit on the side. But I also know when there's a vibe and there's a direction and it needs to be pursued and against all costs. Like last night, for example, there's definitely a direction in there. It was just a little lost at the time, but once everything got focused, it all started rolling. And that's
So what do you do? Like, do you, on Sunday for your next week, what do you do? How do you plan out your week or your month?
A Sunday every week, I feel like I have an open week. And then my week just explodes, just totally out of the blue. And that's the whole present thing. Is
Okay.
I don't plan for all of this.
So you don't say, I'm going to practice my singing from this time to this time. I'm going to work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Because I roll out of bed and over to my keyboard, basically.
Okay. And whatever that is,
it's just all I want to be doing. And, you know, sometimes I'll wake up and I just want to watch TV, but I'll be watching TV and I'll be inspired by something I hear in the TV show. Or I will spend a whole day hanging out with, one of my friends, and he says some of the funniest stuff, and I just take notes. At the end of the day, I am me, and I'm a creative person. No matter what setting I'm in, I'm going to be me.
So you're a walking artist. You never go, okay, now I'm just doing this. So you forget about that. Like you're saying, you take notes.
Oh yeah.
Of conversations. I like to do that when I travel too, of really absorbing a room and the walls, the this, the that, the people that I see, because all that as a writer comes in handy.
Right.
And you never know when you're going to need it. And
exactly. You never know.
You never know. And those are the things that you tend to forget, or you're not present and you don't see it. But if you take a moment and you're there, you're
exactly.
That was interesting. That the world needs to know that. And
exactly. Just be aware.
Yes,
There's
yes.
At the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen. Tomorrow could be the end of my life.
Yes.
But at least I've been present and I've done what I've loved every single moment.
Yes.
You can't expect anything because you don't know what's going to happen. Expect the unexpected is not a cliche at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Because if you and I've experienced this myself, is if you get stuck on a date for a release, or you get stuck on a song or an idea or something like that, it's going to stop you. It's going to stop you from being open to other ideas that might be better and might come from other places. And you have to be aware of other people around you as well, and to listen to them, because lots of people, they don't have to speak up. They don't have to tell you something. Right. So if they're telling you something, it's something that's on their mind. And even if it's a fleeting thought or whatever, it's something that should be considered, because it's coming from somebody who's going to essentially react to your art or you or anything that you're contributing into the world. And so just, being aware is just the key.
I'm so glad you shared that, because in school, and a lot of teachers say, you got to be disciplined, you got to work 8 hours a day and do this and do that. So what you're saying, you don't have to literally like play the guitar 8 hours a day, but you have to be present so you could hear ideas. And so you could go out and have fun with your friends or do something, but you're still a walking artist.
I work
you're still
every day.
absorbing it. Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yes, regardless of what you're doing something.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're being an artist.
Yeah, I'm driving around in the car and I'm writing songs.
Yeah.
Like just thinking up things.
Yes.
It just happens. And and I think, I'm lucky I've found who I am at such a young age and been able to really harness that and move along with it. But even before I knew what I was, I still felt like I knew who I was.
Yes.
Like I was a tennis player and I was an
Yes.
athlete and I was going to do this and this and this. And that's what's important, is just to be secure in yourself in that moment.
So what about figure skating? How did you get into that?
I could do that, like, I don't know, my mom wanted me to figure skate.
So can you still figure skate if you want?
I can't. I do lots of jumps and spins anymore, but I did.
But
I won
you
a
could
gold medal.
Okay,
Not on the Olympics,
okay.
but I won a gold medal.
So whatever you've done since you were a kid, you really put your blood, heart, and soul into it. So you were present for figure skating, but you said, I don't want to do that. I want to do tennis now.
I played soccer for 1 year in high school.
So you know when to go, okay, I had that experience. It's not my lifelong dream, or it's not who I am, but it's a part of me.
Right.
And now singing is who you are, that you want to, that's what the voice you want out there. That's how you deliver your messages and share the secrets of life.
Exactly. And I just and then in school, I always loved computers. I'm a huge geek. And that's helped me in production. That's helped me, I did like graphic design, all that. I do all of my own branding and all of my graphics. And like people are like, how'd you do all of that? Like, who'd you hire to do your press kit? And
Of course. Me.
I did it. And they're like, it's the best press kit I've ever seen. I was like,
Interesting.
It's just about like being present and loving life. Like, you only got one.
Yeah. Can you sing us a little Edith Piaf?
Yeah.
Just a little.
Totally. I'll just sing I'll start from the beginning, I guess, the first movement.
Okay.
Des yeux qui font baisser les miens, un rire qui se perd sur sa bouche. Voilà le portrait sans retouche de l'homme auquel j'appartiens. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il me dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, la juré pour la vie. Dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens dans moi mon cœur qui ba ba da ba ba da ba ba da ba 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 ba.
Oh, that's wonderful.
First thing I've sung all day. But that's another thing, is like I can wake up and just sing because my voice is just like almost like in The Music Man. Your singing is just sustained talking.
Yes.
It's exactly that.
Okay, can anyone learn to sing?
I believe in that there's tone deafness. It is a real thing. It does exist.
Okay.
But I think anybody can sing if like they really know what their strength is, like where they sit. Like lots of rappers don't sing. But they rap.
Okay. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then like I know where to find that 9-year-old girl who couldn't sing. I know where that is in my voice and I avoid it.
Okay. So
I don't sing that Born to Entertain song. I still can't sing that song.
Okay, so you sing whatever is in your range.
Yeah.
And what I see.
But you know, you can obviously make things your own.
Yes.
But the whole, on American Idol, when they'd say like song choice is so important, especially when people are singing covers.
Yes.
Because it's not their original music. And so it's not catered to their voice. It's not something that came directly from them.
Yes.
And song choice is so, so, so important. That's how it is at the end of the day, because the song is what carries the artist.
Yes. So what do you want your legacy to be? Yes, final question. Okay.
I just
It's a tough one.
I want to change. I want the world to think better of themselves, I guess you could say. I think everyone should just be more selfish. Really. Because if you focus on yourself and you are the best contribution you can be to the world and your group of friends, that will project onto other people just naturally. And I've seen that on the scale of, my fan base, and that I post on Instagram that I'm basically working all the time, just pictures of me in the studio or me and my dog. And it's like people just see that and they're like, you show me that it doesn't happen overnight, even though they love my music. They know that I'm not Katy Perry, and they're just like, we so admire that you just push through every day, and that's what you've taught us. And so now, like, I get emails like, I've got kids in like Germany writing books, and people in Australia trying to sing and write songs. I had one girl who won a cover contest of mine who actually, she ended up singing background vocals for me in a gig because I found out she was in LA. Her prize was a Skype with me. And so she told me she was coming to LA and I needed background singers for a show. And so I was like, hey, she'll do it. But, she was being present.
Yes,
she entered the contest.
present.
How would she have ever known that I would ask her that? Nobody knows.
And it was her being her when you met her.
Yeah.
When you Skyped with her, you're going, okay, I connect to her because she was present.
And she was just sharing like what she was doing. She never even asked or anything. And that's the thing, is just like, do you, and you will attract what your life needs, essentially, to take you to that next level. Because I can't tell you how many times I meet people now that I'm just like, I'm so glad I didn't meet you last year. Because you only get one chance to make a first impression.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, if you had met the artist that I was last year, it wouldn't be a full idea. And that's like the legacy, I guess, is for everyone to be themselves, really, truly, and relish in that.
Yeah, and it's okay to borrow and steal bits and pieces
Exactly.
to make up yourself, but ultimately
100%.
be you,
Be
because
you.
you're amazing if you could find out who you are. So
and you
take
have
the time
to know
to do
the
it.
world around you
Yes.
to know who you are
Yes.
and what you have to offer it. And that's why knowing your influences and taking from people who
Yes.
you admire is so key, is
And that's
because
what-
they've clearly, to be such an idol to you,
Yes,
they've clearly accomplished something that you want to accomplish.
absolutely.
So you don't need to take their steez or be like them. You need to find out what made them them
Yes.
and see what you like from that.
And one thing I love about almost everyone I admire has traveled. Because travel takes you out of your
Exactly.
comfort zone.
100%.
And you learn things and you see things that you never would have known had you just stayed in your little town or city. And
Totally.
so, yeah, and you're one of those people that actually lived in a country for a year.
Right.
And wanted to do that. So, yes. So thank you so much. You're such an
Yeah,
inspiration.
for
And you're so
sure.
young.
I know.
And you're like
21
on
next
it.
week.
Oh my God. And you're on it. You're like doing
Yeah,
it.
but I've
Yeah.
always been on it. That's
Yes,
just the person I've
you
been
were,
since I was very
born
little.
probably, yeah.
Yeah, I told it, I was three, 8, all of those increments have been, big years. I was in a children's museum, and there was this guy explaining something to his daughter, and I was like, you're explaining it wrong. He's like, who do you think you're going to be, little girl? I go, I'm going to be the first female president of the United States of America. He goes, you have my vote.
You have that at that age.
Like,
Yeah,
totally.
you got it going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I've known since I was young that, I guess I was lucky. I was born with that sense of self.
That I could do what I
That
want
I
to do
can
in
do
this
what I
world.
want, and I
Yeah.
will be great.
Yeah. I
At all
love that you're so
costs.
comfortable saying that. So many people think, oh, I have to be humble, but we're all great.
I'm
are all
humble.
great.
You
yes.
have to be humble, because if you
Underneath it, though.
exactly,
Yes.
because like being great is
It's
being humble.
Yes.
Because it's like I said it last night in the studio. I was like, I love this one sound because it's epic without being epic.
Yeah.
It's a humble.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
humble synth, because it's so perfect for
Yeah.
that moment
Yes.
and that instance and that song,
Yes.
but it's not overpowering, and it still allows for like more to be added to it. It's like everything is a canvas or
Yes.
a composition at
Yes.
the end of the day. It's just like constantly adding. So
Well, thank you so much.
for sure.
It's
Totally.
been fun.
Yeah.